My mom passed away 5 years ago, and I think of her every day. My dad went through a really bad depression, and I had to take care of myself, basically. During the Christmas holidays, my dad told me that he had been seeing someone for a while. I noticed that he was happier, and I guess I was happy for him. I didn't want him to be lonely forever, but I did feel like my mom was being erased completely. He never wanted to talk about her, and he got rid of all pictures with her in them. He said that his GF will be spending Christmas with us and then moving in. I wasn't happy at all. I don't even know her, but I didn't say anything. I met her on Christmas, and usually my dad and I put the star on the tree that day. We would put the star on the tree and watch The Grinch. It's our tradition, and we kept it even when we were grieving my mom. It's the only tradition from when she was with us that we actually kept. When his girlfriend came over, he put the star on with her while I was in the bathroom. Also, we didn't watch The Grinch because she hates it. I know I sound spoiled and childish, but I was so angry. We've been doing this my whole life, and she just came in and destroyed it. The whole night, she didn't even bother getting to know me at all. She was all over my dad and pretty much ignored me. I told my dad about how upset I was about our tradition, and he said I should grow up and that things change. I didn't like her because she gave me a bad feeling, so I never got close to her. She complained to my dad about it, and he got mad at me for not making her feel welcome. I felt bad because she makes my dad really happy, so I tried being more friendly with her. In front of my dad, she was nice to me, but when we were alone, she ignored me or spoke to me with an attitude. She even told me that I was a brat and I made my dad's life harder. I told him, but he didn't believe me and yelled at me for trying to sabotage his relationship. He said that I wanted him to die alone and be sad and that I was selfish. I was so shocked because none of it is true. My dad basically treated me like I wasn't there at all after that. I felt like I did when my mom died, all alone. I stayed up really late one night because I just couldn't sleep and wanted to sneak in a midnight snack. The GF was in the kitchen on FaceTime, so I decided to be nosy and listen. She was talking about my dad and how much she loves him. Then she said that he had this dumb daughter, and she wondered if it was too late for adoption. She and her friend laughed at that. She said that I was a little witch, and she hated me. Her friend then said something about boarding school or military school, but I left so I didn't hear the rest. I was so exhausted from all the crying I did, so I actually slept. I didn't tell my dad, and I don't even know if I should since he probably won't believe me. I really miss my mom. I kind of want to go live with my grandparents, mom's parents now, but I don't want my dad to think that I'm leaving him. What do I do? Can I even do anything? How do I get my dad to listen to me? Would I be wrong for leaving? Update. Hi. Since my last post, I spoke to my grandparents and told them everything. I asked if I could stay with them if I wanted to, and they agreed. I then spoke to my dad again and tried to tell him how I felt and what I had heard. I didn't want to film or record because I knew that he would be mad at that and wouldn't listen. He didn't believe me again and thought that I was jealous of having to share him with someone else. I got upset and told him that I was leaving so he could live happily ever after without the burden of having me around. He looked shocked, but didn't say anything. I had already packed my bags and had brought some things to my grandparents' house already. My dad didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My grandfather picked me up, and I've been there since. I haven't gone home, and I haven't heard from my dad. My grandparents told me that they would handle my dad and that I shouldn't have to be the one doing it. I'm upset that my dad hasn't called or texted me once to see if I'm okay. At the same time, I'm feeling so much better being with my grandparents. My grandmother is probably the sweetest person ever, and my grandfather is a little rough around the edges, but he's really a softie. I work at a department store that routinely has off coupons for additional discounts. We also offer a 10 senior discount every day, but the rule is only 1% off can be applied to your purchase. Enter Karen into my checkout line. She has a 40 off coupon and has lots of items to be purchased. After scanning her cartload, I scan her 40 off coupon. She then informs me that she is a senior obvious and wants her 10s off also. I tell her that only 1% can be applied. Of course, she wants a manager. Manager shows up next to me and tells her the same rule. She becomes irate and demands her senior discount. Manager tells her again only 1% can be applied, but she is insisting on her senior discount. So manager reaches over me and applies the 10th senior discount. She gets the I got my way smirk on her face. Then manager removes the 40 off discount from the transaction and lady about loses her mind. Where's my 40 coupon? Manager said you insisted on your 10 senior discount, so I gave it to you. She backtracked pretty quickly and said she wants the 40 instead of the senior discount. I really wish she hadn't noticed and only got the senior discount. My soon-to-be fiancé, 25F, and I, 24MA, decided to get a little drunk and watch movies on Thanksgiving Eve. A few drinks later, we get into a stupid argument, and it quickly escalated. I hate confrontation, and I deal with it by staying quiet and shutting down. This really angered her, and she kept drinking while I decided to stop. Once I saw that she was really getting belligerent, I decided it was time for me to call an Uber home. I got dressed and was waiting in the living room for my ride. She comes out and asks me how long before my ride arrives. I took this as her kicking me out, so I made my way to the door where she blocked my way and started pushing and hitting me. By the way, we rarely drink, so I've never seen this side of her. Anyway, I managed to get outside and start walking away from the house, and she decides to follow me while yelling and crying. Mind you, this is a quiet upscale neighborhood, and any disturbance always results in police being called. I told her that this looks really bad and that it would be better if we talked tomorrow when we were both sober. Eventually, she goes back to her house, but that's when the text messages started. I'm really close to my mother, but because she is extremely religious, I hold back on telling her about certain things in my life. My girlfriend blasts me with text messages threatening to send my mom pictures and screenshots of what I do so she can see who her real son is. This really rubbed me the wrong way because it feels like anytime she gets mad from now on, she will feel like it's okay to blackmail me to get what she wants. She is usually a very sweet girl, but I don't know how I should handle this. And like they say, drunk minds think sober thoughts. I haven't replied to any messages since this transpired because I just needed time to digest and think to myself how I want to move forward. I was planning on proposing in 3 weeks. Update. As I'm typing right now, it's 2 a.m. 2 days after this all went down. Haven't replied to any messages or calls. I saw on her Snapchat that she went out with her mom. Again, they're having drinks. I just woke up to 15 calls, and when I finally, still half asleep, answered the phone, I heard her totally wasted asking me why I'm not responding. All I said was if I'm ever going to talk to you, it definitely won't be while you're drunk and definitely not at 2 a.m. You know, it's very easy for someone to say leave her and I'm not oblivious at all, but I have a lot of stuff tied up in this relationship. I have to play my cards right because I don't need my stuff broken or thrown out. I've made my mind up already, but I'm trying to think smart here. Update 2. Guys, I had a heart-to-heart with my mom and I told her everything. It was not easy to do at all, but to my surprise, she just looked at me, smiled, and said, I know what you do. Was just waiting to hear it from you. She also told me that even if my GF tried to blackmail me, she wouldn't have given her the satisfaction of turning her against me. To tell you guys that the biggest weight has been lifted off my shoulders is an understatement. I believe I just took any power that my GF thought she had away from her. I feel free and fresh. I can't thank you guys enough for the advice. Last night, I met up with my GF at a coffee shop. She was sober and very quiet. She could probably see that something was different about me, but I played it really smoothly. I told her that what she showed me that night gave me a glimpse of our future, and that I did not want the same thing happening later down the line when we have kids or own a house together. I expressed to her that she, the person I trusted most, showed me that everything I told her was stored and saved to be used against me at a later time. She didn't interrupt me once. I told her that I don't believe she's some drunk, but that when she is intoxicated, it gave me an idea of who she really was. Her tears started pouring, but that didn't faze me. I made it clear that I never wanted things to end this way, but that I'm basically at square one with my trust. I told her that I think it would be best if we took some time apart, just to see what happened. Then I told her that if she wanted to say anything to me, she was more than welcome. She went on and on about how I know this isn't her and how this has never happened before. She also said that she promised herself that she would never get drunk again. She apologized for acting that way and how she can't believe herself and asked me to reconsider things. I told her that I would think about it and let her know, but that I wanted to grab my stuff from her house until then. I'll be honest. I love this girl. Hell, I was ready to propose. I'm kinda lost right now, but something about her feeling like she can control me, drunk or sober, is not sitting well with me. Years ago, I was a cook at a well-known fast casual restaurant known for their large burritos and charging extra for guac. I worked hard because the place was very understaffed given the number of customers that came in. Management was understanding when we had to cut corners to make sure people did not wait for food. One of the rules we had to follow before cooking the rice was to rinse the raw rice 3 times until the water runs clear. Vague. I know, how clear is clear? What if, after 3 rinses, the water is not clear 3 times and runs clear? Or 3 times or runs clear? Who knows? I did not ask. Most of the time, we would give the rice 1 or 2 rinses before throwing it into the cooker. Never had any problems with customers complaining about it, and we never ran out of rice. Since there were never any problems, management did not care. Everyone was happy. That is until one day, Miss Manager decides it is time to enforce every single rule exactly. Not sure why. To get to the position she was in, she knew how to do all the individual tasks in the kitchen, so she knew the rules. However, she did not know how to conduct the symphony of the dozens of simultaneous tasks at the speed and accuracy required to keep customers moving and to never burn anything. She did not know which corners were okay to cut and which ones were not. I did. As I was getting ready for the busy shift, but the kitchen was not in busy mode yet. I am rinsing rice and Miss Manager approaches me. Make sure to rinse the rice until the water runs clear. I look at her and respond. I always do. She knew I was lying, but she knew I was lying, but she knew why. She knew that it would take longer to make the rice. But I was the only one who could make sure that rice never runs out. Her life would be hell if we ran out of rice. She had a chance to let it go. She did not, though. Mr. Cook, I know you don't follow that rule. Keep rinsing the rice until the water runs clear and before you put this rice on the cooker. Come find me and show me that it runs clear. I looked at her with a straight face and replied, keep rinsing the rice until the water runs clear. Got it? I begin. Fill the pot of rice with water. Agitate the rice, pull out the perforated part of the pot, and dump out all of the cloudy water. After 3 times, the water still resembles water skim milk. I look up. She is watching me. She asks, does that water look clear to you? It was rhetorical. I see how it is. I start rinsing again. Satisfied, she walks away. I continue repeating the process. A while goes by, and yes, I am counting the number of times. The long grains of rice are breaking apart, and the entire pot is turning into a strange, mushy mixture of white rice. Given the time I am taking on this dumb task, everything else that needs to get started in the kitchen is falling behind. Finally, Miss Manager appears in the kitchen again. You're still rinsing rice. The timing was perfect. I dump out the water in front of her and ask, does that water look clear to you? As I dump out the precursor to slightly watered down horchata, she softly says, no, I step away from the sink. How many times do you think I've rinsed this rice? I ask. 7? She answers. No, try 37. I wasn't joking. I have rinsed this rice 37 times, and the water is not running clear to your satisfaction. Should I continue? She looks at the rice, knows it is unusable, and that she has lost the fight. On one hand, she cannot tell me to keep going because the ground-up rice was only a few rinses and a cook away from becoming grits. On the other hand, she cannot tell me to stop rinsing because then she would be in violation of the sacred rice rinsing commandment. Additionally, she cannot fire me, otherwise the store could not open. She scheduled me to work the entire day, and she sure knows that she could not do what I do in the kitchen. Fine, she relents. Get back in there and make sure we're ready when it's time to open. I laughed to myself as I went back to work. I win.